Hey Tara.
Hello, hello. Hey, Marilyn. Hey, everybody. It's been,
Hello. So Tara, how are you doing today?
you know what? I'm kind of excited. I'm
I
excited.
am too.
It's like it's the end of the year. It's kind of winding down. Like I'm just like I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready to. I'm ready to be
You
done with
ready for
the year.
something, right?
I'm ready to be just relax a little bit. I'm dropping stuff. I'm
Oh
ready.
God.
But I'm good. How you been, girl?
I am doing well. I am excited to wrap this puppy up, but
Mhm.
I'm paying homage to the holidays. I'm trying to be like a little package.
Oh, look
Yay.
at you. You get your holiday spirit. Okay, so I'm gonna be winter spirit, right? A little bling, like
Hmm.
little snow, so holiday appropriate for everyone. Like here's the problem when you're a solo CEO. We ain't got a lot of big office parties all the time, right? So we gotta make our
No.
own fun. So like, hi, welcome to my holiday party.
Yeah,
Me.
this is kind of our holiday party right now. But you know what? So let's just jump into this, Tara, and let our friends out there know we really decided we wanted to hear from you all. You hear from us all year long through Guru Talks. You hear from us on our podcast.
Mhm.
And then if you cross me in the street, you're gonna hear from me or you hear from Tara. But we felt like the end of year, it's a celebration, but it's also an opportunity to learn. But we wanted to learn from you all. So Tara, didn't we get some really, really good submissions for our guru talk today?
Absolutely. When we think about like who are the right people to bring as our gurus, we always want experts. We want people who've been living our life. And I can't think of better gurus than the members of our community, right? Every last one of y'all are experts at what you do. And that's really what this community is about. And so we sent out the bat signal. We were like, can you please give us advice, lessons, laughter, and y'all responded. I'm so excited. So the
Mm-hmm.
rules of the road today is we wish we could share all of them. I don't think we're going to have time to share all of them, but we're going to share some. We're going to talk a little bit about it. I want you, if you got comments, you to talk and put it in the comments, and we'll have our conversation together. And then all of the great advice that we got, all the great good stories are going to appear on our website. We're having like a nice little video. Okay, producer Krista is putting the thing together. It's gonna be really hot. And so for all of time, we'll have advice for anybody. And so
Right.
I'm so excited.
Because you know what we've always said is we learn from each other. We continuously learn from each other. And so thank you for the generosity of everyone who did
Mhm.
provide a submission. But in the event that you who are watching us did not get an opportunity to do that, please put it in the chat. Let us know because the only way we can grow is if we learn. And this is our community to continue to learn so we can go and grow and just be even better for 2022. So, with that
Mhm.
said, Terry, you want to jump into it?
We're gonna get the first one. Now look, full warning. Producer Krista has done the crazy idea and let me do a little bit of this tech support behind the scenes. So if it looks clumsy or crazy, or if I mess up something when I play it, that's on me. But you know what? I'm willing to stretch myself. All right, so let's play the first one.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nigel Smith, founder and CEO of Zurina LLC. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a strategist. When a company establishes a vision statement, everything that company does should align 100% with that vision. Otherwise, it represents waste and should not be done. Similarly, we all have our own personal vision statements or reason for being or why. Yet when we think about every day, every week, every month, every year, how much of our precious time is aligned with our reason for being. And if it's not, why are we doing it? So take a typical week. When you take out, time for sleeping, we have roughly 120 hours left. Most of us are spending at least one third to half of our time working, building a career. Is your work or career aligned with your why, with your reason for being? If it is, great. If it's not, you may feel that hollow experience inside, and you may ask, why am I doing this, right? Um, what I learned in the past year, becoming a full-time entrepreneur, taking my late grandpa's secret recipe to the world. I've named a company after my two daughters. I'm doing things that's aligned with my personal reasons for being, which is being a good dad, being a good husband, honoring my family, setting an example for others to follow. All of those things I can see in my career, and as a result, I've never been happier, more fulfilled, living with greater peace of mind than ever before. So my words of wisdom for you is to really step back, think about why you tick, like what is your why, what is your reason for being, and just really take an audit of all the things you're doing every single day, including your career. And if there's no alignment, think about ways of fixing that so that you can be happier and more fulfilled. God bless.
So, can I say, I am always a Nigel fan. I love, love, love Nigel. And just FYI, folks, his message is on point. You want to hear more about him or want to hear more from him? We have a full podcast with Nigel. But Tara, alignment. What do you think?
No, so Nigel, thank you so much for that, because I felt that deep in my chakras, in my spirit, right? The idea, you know, he said something really profound. Like, look at your week. Are you spending your time in alignment with what you say matters to you, right? And that's huge. And I think for a lot of people, particularly for those of us as we're getting our businesses up and running, or even we've been doing this for a while, like there's a long list of to-dos, and it's so easy to prioritize, for me, like what a client needs, or what I heard on some other podcast, not solo CEOs because ours is hot, right? But like what I heard on some other podcast. What's up, Nigel? Boom shakalaka,
Yay!
indeed. um but the idea of having a gut check, like, am I spending more time than not in the space that is connected to what matters to me, like that, like we should all be doing that check every once in a while. And that's how you know, either when things have been like have shifted in the wrong way, or when it's time to change. Like, Marilyn, we had another podcast episode where we talked about, like, how do you know when it's time maybe to change things up. That's a great indicator. Like, you know what, I'm spending too much time doing things I don't love and don't feel connected for me.
And so, as you all who are familiar with Tara and I and our different ways of verbalizing things, she's a coach and I'm not. And my expression of alignment is save yourself. Save yourself. I just had a conversation with Tara earlier this week, and I told her, I'm gonna help you save yourself. A lot of times, what I mean by that is, if you are not doing things that are aligned with who you are, because you're trying to please others, everything in your universe is off kilter. Everything, nothing
Yeah.
feels right. You walk in the room, you're not comfortable. I like the fact that Nigel took the time to tell us how many hours we had outside of rest, where you have to look at what you're doing. But here's the cool thing, when you're aligned, it's not difficult. It really is not, because it's a gut check, like Tara said. You feel it, you know right away. Like when people say trust your gut, that is 1000% true. A lot of times in the solopreneur game, things come at you. The opportunities may look amazing, but sometimes in your gut is saying, nah, I don't think, you know what? Don't turn down that road, go down another one. So with that,
Ooh.
remember, align. And even one of our other gurus told us, he had a whole conversation about alignment. That is key. And what we do not only is about the product or the service we produce, but ourselves, how healthy we are, and making sure that we stay healthy. And that's how you do it. You stay aligned with your true self and keep your vision in front of you.
you know, like, so there are a number of people that will say, like, that's great for Nigel. He seems like to know exactly what he wants to do. He has an amazing product. He had a brilliant idea. But
Zarina,
I
by
don't.
the way.
It's called Zarina. And like,
Yep.
you can get it on their
Amazing.
website, or if, even at Amazon. Like, so Nigel,
Mhm.
we will take our coins for that little advertisement. But for a lot of people, they will say like, I maybe I don't know exactly what I want. But Marilyn, you actually you brought up something like trusting your gut, even if you
Mm-hmm.
can't articulate this is a thing that I love, or this is why I do this, or what that thing is. Your gut will never lead you astray. Like when something
Yeah.
just doesn't feel right, and where it's really deceiving sometimes. And I know for me, like my brain will be like, this is a great opportunity. It'll set you up for this thing. It'll get you more notice, right? Who in their right mind would turn down something like this? And on the inside, you kind of get those knots that you're like, but you talk yourself into it sometimes. And so alignment also means trusting that voice, even if you can't clearly hear exactly all the words, or you don't know exactly what it's saying, but you know fully well what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And you like, not only do you have permission to follow that, but at the same time, like as solo CEOs, all we have is ourselves. All we have is our instincts. And you can turn around and build a business that works for somebody else, but if it doesn't work for you, it's not going to be as successful as it could be. It just isn't.
And in short, Tara, you got to write your own story.
Hmm.
Don't allow anybody else to write it for you, because if they do, that is not your story. And it may
Hmm.
not be aligned with who you envision your company and even yourself to be. So
Yeah.
that's what I got to say about that. It's what is it?
Yes.
Forrest Gump
Thank
said,
you.
and that's what I have to say about that.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Hmm.
Okay, well, like, so thank you, Nigel. Like,
Thank
okay, I got
you.
the next one. Orlando is speaking truth, yo.
I
Hi, I'm Orlando Espinosa with M&A Media, and one of the best lessons that I've actually learned to scale and grow my business has been not to overthink it. And that's one of the key things that I always share with businesses. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Simplify everything that you do. And one of the key things is create things in phases. The moment that you start creating things in phases, it's going to actually help you realize and find that success that you're actually looking for in order to grow and scale your business. So the key element is don't overthink it. Simplify it, and you're going to actually realize that by simplifying everything that you do within your business, you're going to lead a happier life, and you're going to be able to accomplish the things that you are setting out to do in order to take your business to the next level.
All right, Orlando from Miami. That is one of my buddies, amazing entrepreneur. Tara, what do you have to say about Mr. Orlando's comment?
Mr. Orlando is speaking truth. And in fact, Orlando, I feel really accused right now. How dare you? How dare you, sir, call me out like this? You know, people say they be sitting in church and the pastor speaks right to them. My entire team can tell you that that is one of my challenges. It's easy to make things really complicated. I don't like I overthink things sometimes, or um sometimes I worry that like it can't be this simple. It can't be this simple. It's got to be more more to it, right? But I do, yeah. Latoya, thank you. Like simplify is such um wisdom over and over again, and because you simplified 5 days ago doesn't mean that you don't need to simplify again, because we have this beautiful human ability to keep adding on stuff and then adding on some more. And so something that was once simple no longer is simple. Um, I, I find that really hard. Like, so how are you on simplifying?
I am actually very good at that. And as I was listening to Orlando, I was like, the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. I don't have time to make things overcomplicated, but I understand that that's just how my brain is wired. Other people, they go into this whole overthinking it and then rethinking it and then rethinking it. And I always feel like you think long, you think wrong. I mean, on pretty much everything. Once you've done your research, and and again, I have to say, you have to do your research. So I'm not saying jump out there and
Mhm.
just keep it going because it's easy. Simple and easy are two different things. Simple is making sure that you can follow what you want to do, but it's not necessarily always easy. Some of the things Tara and I do, they're not easy at all. We've opted to take
No.
the right road, not the easy road. And a lot of times when you take the right road, it's pretty simple. because you kind of know it. And then you think, well, it should be a little bit more like Tara said, but it's like, no, not really. Um, once I've done the research, well, Tara, I'm on to the next thing. It's like, oh, got that done. Check. Let's keep it moving. Because it's stuff like we
Yeah.
don't have time, Tara. Think about when Nigel had all the hours in the day. When you think about how much time you have to accomplish what you're trying to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a lot of time. So sitting there kind of overthinking it, and I like what Orlando said about doing things in phases, because sometimes that makes it a little easier. So you're not eating a whole sandwich, you're just
Mm-hmm.
taking bits and pieces and bites at it to achieve the goal. I think that
Yeah.
was good advice, Mr. Orlando.
I think it's amazing advice. All right, so since this is my problem and not Marilyn's, clearly, like I can't speak to everyone that may also have this affliction. But what I've learned about myself is that oftentimes, where I have a tendency to make things way more complicated than they need to be. In the beginning, it was because I was trying to replicate what I saw in my corporate life, right?
Hmm.
How do things get done? Like how like what processes work? Was that because I just assumed that that was the right way to do things,
But
and
Tara, let me
so
stop you right there and
mhm.
ask you, in your corporate life, it just wasn't you. Usually it was
No.
you and a whole team of folk, and people just
Mhm.
beat an idea down into the ground. And usually it ended up where you thought it was going to be in the first place, but everybody had to have a say.
Exactly, right. And so in corporate, they could use Orlando
Hmm.
Espinosa there to tell them the exact same thing, right?
Right,
Keep it
right.
simple. But so I found that was the first risk area where I would get way more complicated than it need to be. And then the places where it sometimes still exists are where I feel most insecure, right? Like, oh, are they gonna like it? Like, is it worth this value? Do I have to make sure I do it the quote unquote right way? I get myself kind of twisted, or to make sure I don't make too much mistake. And so, like
Hmm.
Marilyn is my mentor, like my peer mentor on this, because she's usually like, "No, it's too difficult. Stop being so damn smart." And that's the quote that she actually says to me: "Stop being, you made it too
Yeah.
hard."
You know,
But it puts me in my place. Like I appreciate that.
because it's like, we can do this the easy way and keep it going, or we can just labor over it. And then usually by that time I'm real hungry and I don't have no tolerance. So please take heed to what Orlando said. When you feel like you are going down that path of overthinking it, and then sometimes you start to ask people what do they think, and then that overcomplicates it. Stop yourself, save
Mm-mm.
yourself, have confidence in your decision. Here's the good thing: even if you make a mistake, just redo it.
Mm. Hmm.
Just redo it.
Yeah.
We not, you know, I have full faith that you'll get it right.
Okay, like that's more than a word, right? Like so if you make mistakes, I think there's a lot of people that live in fear of
Mhm.
the mistake. Like I will make a mistake, and so I think in therapy they call it catastrophizing. I will make this
Oh,
one
that's a
mistake.
word?
Or did I make that
Woo.
up? I might just make that up, y'all.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess.
right, but like if I make this one mistake, my whole business will fall apart. My reputation will be terrible. I will never be able to sell anything again. Right, like you kind of get this slippery slope, and it's not uncommon across the board. It's not specific to entrepreneurs at all. But the idea, like most mistakes are recoverable, and the bigger issue is not making a mistake. It's actually about how you recover. And so
Yep.
like you will make a mistake, you will send send something that maybe isn't perfect to a client. You will create a program that loses money every once in a while. Like we all make mistakes, and I got a long list of my own. It doesn't mean you can't recover from them at all.
Oh,
And right, having that faith is what kind of gets you through that.
so now our next video, you will understand why we call this lady Sunshine.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Sunshine.
Hello, solo CEOs. It is Latoya here, the owner of Virtually For You Biz Solutions, and I wanted to share the three things that I have learned in 2021. So, the first thing that I have learned is getting clarity. Clarity, not just about your business goals, but clarity around the life that you want. That is something that truly has helped me because now that I am much clearer about the life that I want, I can build my business around that. I can build my business in a way that will support the life that I want. I felt like when I didn't have that clarity, that I was kind of just flailing around. But getting that clarity this year has truly helped me so that now all the decisions that I am making going forward are just that much more strong and foundational. And I know that I'm going to be able to reach the goals that I want for my life and, of course, in my business. Number two that I wanted to share is imposter syndrome is real, okay? Especially if you deal with social media, which I do in my business. I really had to struggle, or I really struggled with dealing with imposter syndrome in a world of social media where everybody's having 5-figure launches or 6-7-figure businesses. And for me, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't there. And so I kind of struggled a lot with that this year. And I had to really step into and realize that my authentic brand, my authentic voice is what is needed. I am not in competition with anybody else. And so if you are an entrepreneur, solopreneur, and you struggle with having imposter syndrome, don't, because people need you. You are what they need, not just the skills that you bring with you. And when I realized that, when I tell you that I was able to really step into my authenticity, and it just feels great. It feels great. And then the last thing is actually from a line or from the title of one of my favorite movies from Adam Sandler. Just go with it. Y'all, we done been through a pandemic. Everybody's been working from home. So if you see my cat's tail flapping across this screen and I'm on a sales call, oh well, hey, I work from home. Like, I am no longer gonna take myself so seriously when I'm working from home. Things are gonna happen. My husband's gonna come in and start talking to me, not realizing I'm on a call. It happens, and I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, it does not matter what is going on behind the screen as long as I'm getting the work done, and that's what I'm doing. So I have learned this year not to take myself so seriously, and you shouldn't either. So I'm gonna try to keep it quick because I can talk all day, but that is it. Those are the three things that I truly learned in 2021, making sure that I have clarity around the life that I want that can then help me to build a business that can support that. Number two, imposter syndrome is real, but it does not have to be. You are not in competition with anybody else other than yourself. And number three, just go with it. Don't take yourself so seriously. So that's it for me, and I will see you guys in 2022.
Y'all, that's our sunshine.
You know what, Tara? When I see her video, she is just so light and bright and brilliant. I love when she says hello, hello. I was like, ooh. But
Yes.
let's be
Hello,
clear
hello,
that
hello.
hello, yeah. Tara, let's be clear that sunshine beats us up daily, y'all.
Man,
She
wait,
looks good on the camera though.
wait, don't get it twisted. Sunshine will give you a sunburn. Trust and believe.
That is so
All that
right.
positivity.
That is so right. Yes, because we all I got suntan lotion on.
Okay, so now, so here's another thing with Latoya K. Williamson. Like, you see how she dropped those nuggets, right? Hey, I'm glad you like this, Latoya. Like, so these nuggets. So not only did we do a podcast interview with her, so you can get a whole sense of her history. Like, her background is absolutely amazing. She too has a podcast, right? So if you really want to get some nuggets, she a podcast, and she actually does Instagram stories quite a bit. So she's giving wisdom out free all day, every day. And if you're not picking up some, then I don't know what you're doing with your life. Just go ahead and lay
Right.
that out right now.
But she dropped three nuggets in Tara.
Mhm.
Let's kind of unpack them.
Yes.
give each one its proper respect, because each one is huge when you're running your own business. I mean, really huge, like the whole clarity piece. So here's something funny. When I first started my business, I was calling myself a marketing consultant, because essentially you look at what marketing really is. If you understand it, I still am, but just a different kind of marketer.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't understand was how many people didn't have that same definition. And so I was selling what I still do today to people who didn't understand my definition of marketing. It took me years, not much,
Mm.
years, to gain clarity around not what I was doing, but their understanding of what I was doing. So,
Mm-hmm.
can we say that again? People, you know what you're doing, but does your customer understand it? Are you making yourself clear? So, you know me, I would be like, oh, they just don't get it. Oh, they don't understand. And it was, and in a sense, it was, they didn't get it. But it was important that I got it. And finally, the light bulb went off when this woman told me she thought I was a tech person. And I was like, "Me?
Whoo, not on
Hello,
the stage.
computer? What? A tech person?" I
They should
said,
have said
"Sister, I
NFL
got to get
player.
some
It would make as
clarity."
much sense.
Yes, I got to get some clarity around what Marilyn Johnson is doing. And I sat down, and then you know what I did? And Tara, you was probably one of my victims. I started asking people, "What you think I do?"
What's up, Ingrid? We saw you.
Yeah,
Hi.
hey Ingrid. She
Mhm.
has a little video that's going to be on our website too. But I asked people,
Mm-hmm.
people that were my customers, what is it that they thought I was doing? I needed to gain that clarity, because that is the easiest way to win business, is when they know what the hell you do. And
Shockingly,
make
right?
it worse, when you go to, now I will say my website is very clear and concise, but
Mm-hmm.
I have gone to so many websites, and I walk away from the websites going, I have no earthly idea what's happening here. What came in the room? I don't know. So can I say clarity, people, please be very clear. Start asking people what they think you do. Ask some of your customers, what you think I do? That'll tell you how clear you are. I mean, Tara, I mean, am I off point here? Tell me.
No, I mean you're right on point. And clarity for me. Hey, Julie. I mean, Julie can tell you how I went through kind of this transition around like what is it that I do, who do I want to be, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
The clarity for me really kind of clicked in when I got to sit with like, well, what do I want my business to be? I know how to do a business. Like I was a consultant. Like, I started my career in big management consulting, so I can replicate and do that. It didn't get really good until I got very clear on how I wanted to do this, what types of projects I want to take on, what types of clients I want to work with, and I had the same conversation with my clients around like, what is it that you think I do, but more so like, what parts of what I do really are what you love and what you're buying. And the craziest thing, y'all, I like what I realized is people were buying so much of me. It wasn't just I had great documents or deliverables or all that stuff that have been ingrained in your head, particularly in business school, right? Don't make yourself the business too personal to you, because then you can't grow it and sell it. And then
Yeah,
people
can I
telling
just
me,
put a point here and say this
Mhm.
about business school? Both Tara and I have our MBAs. I'm going to tell you now that most of the stuff they taught us in business school is so not what we're doing. It's actually
Mhm.
the opposite. Because as a solopreneur, the business is you. People are buying
Mhm. That's
you
right.
and your services. They're buying your integrity, they're buying your brilliance, but they're buying
Mhm.
you. So
Right,
keep
and getting
going, because
clear on that, right? Like, so
mhm.
so Erica, like yeah, we talking to you, Miss Erica, because Erica also has a great story too, and you can put some of that into the comments, where like Erica got very clear on who she was, and even how she wanted to present, and it shows up in your branding and your marketing, and people then
Everything.
buy you. Like that clarity changes everything,
Mhm.
and you live a better aligned life, right? Right? Yeah, they have to trust what you deliver and you. That's right. Because if you think you're the only one that sells what you do, use a lie.
Right.
So there has to be something differentiating. All right, so that was point number one. Because like, girl, we could do an entire masterclass on Latoya's points, right?
Just that
So,
clarity. It hits so personal. And Tara, can I just say this one thing? Just because you figured it out, say in 2021, don't think you got the mystery solved in 2022, 2023, and forward. You have to always stay true to your brand. And especially if you start adding new services, you have to make sure that they're very clear. Hey, Shell,
hey,
you
Shell.
have to know exactly who you are and what you're delivering. But most importantly, you have to get from your customer's perspective what it is they think they're buying. So this doesn't go away. And it took a while for me to get there. I continue to go through that exercise of asking people as I do different things to make sure that it's almost like, did you see what I saw? Did you hear what I heard? Because I want to make sure that we're on the same page, so I'm not delivering something that you were not looking for.
Well, actually, that ties into the second point, right? You're asking people kind of like, what value do I bring? The second point is about imposter syndrome, because the world is telling you, they're telling you deeply, this is what I want, this is what I value from you. And it's easy to feel like an imposter, right? Like, Erica, you are the purpose girl. That is actually chief purpose coach. That is exactly what she does, right? But when someone came to Erica and said, like, you're the purpose girl, it's easy for imposter syndrome to say, well, okay, maybe I haven't built it up enough, or maybe that's just one person. But right, like, so knowing what's right for you at the pace that's right for you, that actually can be really hard. So, Marilyn,
Yeah.
so have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome?
I have not. And I think
I didn't think so.
because so much of what I do is it's not in that realm. Yeah, no, I haven't dealt with it. I don't want to say what I always say, but I just feel like I'm too old for that. I ain't got no time for that. Like, you know what? Be an imposter next year. Let's move forward. Save myself. Y'all can always hear me say save myself. I just don't. No, I've heard of it, and I know people who struggle with it. I think that what helps with that is to have a community that's supportive of you, so that they can help keep you on track.
Yeah.
And you guys have listened to us. Hopefully, if you're new to our Guru Talks or our podcast, you'll learn that Tara keeps me on track so that I'm not falling too far off the tracks, and I keep her on track. It's our community. I work in a co-working space. We talk to people, we talk to each other, just to stay connected. I think people kind of fall into the imposter syndrome when they really don't have that strong community to rely on. And I hope
Well,
that they can find that community with us, and we just help keep people on point, just like with Erica's purpose coach. Um, find people to talk to.
well, and I've seen it both ways. I mean, some people have great communities around them, and still there's something inside that says like, oh, like I'm gonna get found out. Like, so and I've seen this in really powerful executives. I've seen it in entrepreneurs that have $1 million businesses, that you're like, okay, one day, like, half the time I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody's gonna figure that out one day, right? And so as a coach, whenever I come across this with people, the one thing I will say is literally everybody. There's only two kinds of people. There's people like Marilyn. It just never occurred to them to have imposter syndrome, and then there's a bunch of people that's just like they're like, do they know? I have inside on information on me. Do they know I'm not so great? Like, so it's only two kinds of people, and they're both wonderful and great. So if you happen to be someone who has never thought about imposter syndrome, go with God. We need you. If you are one of those people that is like, it's like, really, they trust me, like so, and parents go through this, like, they trust me with babies, like they gonna let me raise these alone, like
There's no manual.
there's no manual. Do they know how silly I am? So if that is also yourself, know that you're in good company. Nobody has it all figured out. We
Tara,
all
I
figuring
feel
it
like
out.
at a point,
Keep it moving.
people, if you really struggle with it,
Mhm.
honestly, get a coach, speak to somebody that is trained to help you get through your struggle.
Well, and also realize, like, to Latoya's point, it's easy to see, like, oh, these people had six-figure launches. Half of them didn't, right? Every time
Well,
you're
you
looking at
know what?
somebody's accomplishment, somebody did it, but a whole bunch of people didn't, right?
But
You're not
here's the
behind.
thing:
You're
even if
fine.
they even if they have those six seven figure companies, what they didn't tell you is all the stuff in between the lines. Like you see
Yeah.
the top line, rarely do
Hmm.
you see the bottom line, but all that stuff that happened in between, you don't see. I mean, we have a
Hmm.
wonderful person that was on our podcast, and his struggle was, I want to grow my online presence, and he was looking at all of these
Hmm.
folks who have a trillion followers, and he was reading about the people, and we started just kind of taking it bit by bit, and I said, but they didn't tell you, they told you they slept in their car, and then the next
Hmm.
part of that story is they was on a stage in front of 5,000 people. They didn't tell you how they got there from that
Mm-mm.
car. That's the part that we miss, because we focus on
Yes.
the stage, but nobody
Hmm.
focused on what happened in between. So that's when you put your, and for those who can remember Columbo, that's when you put your Columbo hat on and go, okay, what's missing here?
We just had a bunch of millennials just go, what? What just
Yeah.
happened? Yeah, Colum. No, but you're right. It's okay. So now to Latoya's third point, and then we'll go to our next clip.
Don't
Um,
be so
don't
serious.
be so serious. 100%. And I
Forget
don't
you
think I don't think
sharing
that needs
more today.
commentary. I don't even think that needs a statement. Like, get over yourself.
Hmm. You know what? Not only get over yourself, get out of your way.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of your
Oh,
way.
I mean, think I'm Nigel just dropping facts. Like, we over here just blah 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 talking, and he's like, according to a 2020 review. Go ahead, Nigel.
Nigel over there
82%
with all the
of
numbers.
people. Yes. If everyone else is getting balls, suddenly your own hair loss becomes less of an issue. That is actually so helpful. Like, you are not alone if you feel it. Nigel,
Okay,
I
well,
expect you to
why
follow us
do you have
behind
to bring
everywhere we
up the
go and
hair situation?
fact check us. Like, that's not
Would,
your new job.
but Tara, why do you have to bring up the hair situation? What you all didn't know was right before we went on, I was like, I probably shouldn't have got my hair cut yesterday.
See, Erica is loving your hair. Erica, don't make her feel better.
I
Stop
was
making her
like,
feel better.
I'm looking awfully bald right here. But anyway,
No, I'll speak to it. Okay, wait. So now, all right. So we do have some of the people who did not want to bless us with the video. They did give us statements, and so I want to holler at Gina Palmer. Thank you,
hey
Gina.
Gina.
Hey, Gina. Right. So what Gina says is count your wins and don't be so hard on yourself if you don't check off everything on your list. Now, this is actually it. Like, it relates to like Latoya's don't take yourself too seriously and the imposter syndrome. So Gina is like locking it all down. Count your
Right.
wins. Like, how so, Marilyn, how do you celebrate your wins?
I celebrate my wins by, like everything else, talking to people, letting them know, hey, this is what I did. It is so exciting for me to see where the service that I provided has benefited somebody. And so
Hmm.
I share it with my community to say, hey, check this out, this is what I just did. And but so much of my mind is set is about keeping it moving, so I celebrate it and I keep it moving. So I have a mental picture of a land shark, and I don't know what land sharks do, but I never stop moving. I don't even know where that came from. And years ago I said I'm just gonna always be a land shark. I mean, to the point where it's so crazy. I even walking on the street, I won't stop walking. Like if I get to a red light, I'll look on the other side and say, "Oh, I could turn that way." I never stop moving. Physically, mentally, I just don't. I know, isn't that exhausting?
I need a nap after all this.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you see me, you like, this woman is not stopping. I just don't. I
Mm-mm. She don't. so it's funny. Like I really, hold on. Let me get Gina's statement back up. It fell off, right? So I really resonate with kind of the second part of Gina's statement around, like, don't be too hard on yourself if you don't get everything that you set off. Like we all make, like, we make lists as if we can teleport instantly between meetings, because and we can be everywhere at once. And
Mhm.
as someone complained to me yesterday, I had all my team together, and they were like, you pretend like things don't take as long as they really take. Right? So I
People,
haven't.
let me just say this. Um, I think she has the biggest bladder in the world. I'm just saying.
Okay, we're not even talking about that.
Because you are so busy trying to check the list off. Sometimes I'll talk to Tara and ask her, have you taken a personal break? Have you eaten? Well, no. I'm like, it's 2 in the afternoon.
Right? Because I'm like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. So I had to make some adjustments around things so I wouldn't be so list focused, because it's not about everything on the list. Like spoiler alert, you're not gonna finish everything on the list. No one, like,
Yeah.
the day your list is done is the day we put you into the ground, like, because there's always something else popping up. And so if that's the case, what matters most? What can I put in? And like, how can I appreciate like the great things I've done? Like, so for anyone who needs appreciation, one of I have a friend, and I love her dearly. She actually has a kudos file. Like, so when she gets an
Ooh.
email and someone's like, thank you, that was great, I loved it, that helpful, she actually puts it into her little file. And if she's ever having a day when she doubts herself or whatever, she actually opens her file up and she remembers that she has had an impact on people. And I'm like, I love that,
Yay. Now,
right?
look at what Ingrid said here. Self
Mm-hmm.
care. You are absolutely right. Here's a interesting story, and I had just thought about it when I was first starting my business, and I was really, really struggling trying to get traction. I
Mm-hmm.
would have, when you said the kudos file, I thought about when I was in corporate,
Mm-hmm.
my last job, I had an amazing team who supported me. And I had one of the youngest at that point senior executives as my leader. And my annual review, he gave me my annual review. And I had never had anything like that.
Hmm.
And it just instilled such confidence in me. And I was like,
Yeah.
how did Jason know? Like, he saw stuff that I hadn't seen at that point.
Hmm.
When I was struggling, I would pull that review out
Yeah.
and I would listen to it. I was like, if that dude had faith in me a couple years ago, I can do this. I
Mm-hmm.
can do this. And then I put it back and I keep going. Land shark, y'all. So have faith in yourself. But like you say, find that one thing that gives you that happy. It
Mm-hmm.
gets me emotional. But
I
anyway.
know. Look at you. Well, so Marilyn, like, what that also talks about is like how important it is to say those things, right?
Mhm.
So often we appreciate people. We're like, oh, you
Ah,
like they did the
you're
damn
my
thing,
Kleenex.
and no, like we keep 100% all day, every day as solo CEOs, right? But like you don't understand how little Jason is walking around in this world right now, not knowing like the long lasting impact that he's had, on Maryland. But like I want you to think about in the
Mhm.
past week, there probably is someone that gave you something, that served you something, that was in a meeting with you, that they did the damn thing, right? And you may have even turned to your friend to the side, like, he did the damn thing. If you had, like, tell him, right? We
Mhm.
all have these moments where we need to hear it. I hear all the time in my coaching conversations that people are holding on to negative things that came out of reviews 25
Yeah.
years ago, right? Like someone made a comment, like literally, no lie, someone made a comment like, "Oh, you're not good with PowerPoint presentations," and this person is hanging on to it. Like you 55 years old and still thinking this thing, or it still kind of gets in your spirit. And so, speak on it
Here,
if you
you
can.
know what though? I'm gonna tell you to your point, Tara, about when you keep that negative, or if you even hear the negative, man, I use Jason's review as a damn weapon. When somebody says, when somebody says, "Oh, this wasn't what I expected," I was like, "Well, you ain't nearly as smart as him." So I'm, keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that is what your kudos follow, your your congratulatory file is to say,
Yeah.
clearly somebody or somebody's, because usually it's more than the one person,
Mm-hmm.
saw your greatness, and whoever it is that's throwing shade at you, they not ready. I won't
Mm-mm.
say what I say to Tara, but they just not ready.
Okay, I think it's so cute that she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna say it like y'all don't know how terrible her mouth is. Okay, yeah.
Hey, Shell,
Is that what we doing for Christmas? All right, so I'm gonna switch it up. Like so, like Ingrid was hollering self care. I want to play Ingrid's video because I think this connects to self care.
Happy holidays, everyone. So, the question is, what have I learned this past year as a solopreneur? Wow. So, I think one of the things that I've learned that's very, very important when you're a solopreneur is to invest in self care. 2020 was a very difficult year for all of us with the social distancing, with the slow in corporate. Um, Opportunities in business. So it was a very stressful and difficult year. So in 2021, I think it's been very important for me to get back to some of those activities that I enjoy, the self care. We're not, so confined to the house anymore. So getting out and really trying to invest time for ourselves in some self-care activities, and also connecting to our network again. We were basically closed down for a year and a half. So, those little activities like meeting colleagues at Starbucks for a cup of coffee, they mean so, so much to us solopreneurs to get out and be visible and connect with our network. So, those are the two things that I concentrated on in 2021, and I hope to continue to invest more time in those activities in 2022. Have a great holiday season, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Ingrid. Like I felt like that was a perfect kind of bookend to the conversation around like this is part of self care is counting your wins. This is part of self care of knowing when to use Jason's review as a weapon against somebody else, like how to protect your spirit
Mhm.
from people that don't really get you and don't know you. Right? It
Let
makes a
me
huge
tell you, I have had the pleasure of knowing Miss Ingrid Watkins. Ingrid is an amazing entrepreneur, and she just got some love on I think it was LinkedIn, because she's killing it. She's killing it. But let me
yes,
tell you,
Ingrid.
yeah, she's
Yes.
out there killing it, and people are recognizing it. And her spirit, what you exhibited, what you saw online, is who she is. But I'm gonna tell you, she is true blue. She's gonna tell you like it is with a smile, but it's not to hurt, but to educate.
Mhm.
And I think that she's moved it forward. And that self-care piece, she is 100%, because she stepped out from corporate. She had a nice big corporate job, but she realized she had to take care of herself, because you look around and sometimes the people that you think are going to support you the most are the ones that support you the least. And having faith in yourself, having a supportive community, is what keeps you afloat. And I think Ingrid she embodies all of that. So thank
Mhm.
you for that comment, Ingrid.
I love that. I mean, I like she
Look
spoke to
at her
all the
letting do something else.
right. I think it speaks to also in her video. There's so many ways that you can care for yourself, and part of it is just knowing what you need, right? Like for some people, like we've missed being in contact with people, and sometimes you just need to be physically in community, right? Like just like sitting on a bench with a cup of coffee where I can actually look at you, maybe more than a Zoom hangout. For some people, self care is just quiet time. Like so, you know, my team knows my best friend just left here, and she literally came to the tundra of Chicago in the wintertime just to sit in a room by herself and not have requests like that. That is also self care, and a spa and a massage and a book. Like like whatever it is for you. The question is, what is it that rejuvenates you? What is it that refreshes you? What is that that reconnects you back to who you are and your alignment and that kind of thing. And only you can define that for yourself.
Yeah. So Tara, since we have a few more videos and
Yeah.
our time is running down, let's get to them.
All right. Let's see what Steve got to say.
Yes.
Hey, folks, ladies, I just saw your email and I wanted to reply. Much like yourself, many times I go out and talk to entrepreneurs who are in my industry, which is media production, broadcasting, and I often have to tell them that they have to kind of just stick with it. This is not a easy industry, and I'm not saying that, there's one industry that's easier than another. But my point is, listen, I've been in this for 18 years now. We produce lots of video work for universities and corporations and nonprofits. And listen, there's some years that are fantastic. There's some other years, days and months that are just very, 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 very lean. So you have to kind of learn how to um, gauge yourself, gauge your spending, gauge your growth, and keep on going. Every year is not going to be a banner year. Every year is not going to be a year where you're going to say, I just don't need to do this. And I will be honest with you, there were probably 3 or 4 occasions where I said, I just can't do this anymore. This is ridiculous. But I'm continuing to do it. I love doing what I do. Um, and I encourage anybody who is in the media content creation field just to continue to do what you're doing. Um, our website here is rutherfordmedia.com. If you need to reach me, of course, just go to the website and look up the information on that. But again, I wanted to share with you um, some of my thoughts about owning a business and running a business and doing what you have to do on a day-to-day basis. Trust me, there's a ton more that I could talk about, a ton more. But anyway, let me go ahead and run. I'm glad to see this up and running. So guys, have a good one.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Like he was like, keep going. It's hard out here sometimes. Keep going. And
Mm,
Steve, yeah.
you know it, and it's always good to hear somebody else's experience to say, you know what, some days it ain't pretty. I thought about giving up, and then I thought the other option is not something I want to take on. Keep
Mhm.
moving, keep doing it for sure.
Yeah. If there's anybody out there here that feels that, you are not alone.
Hmm.
Even every success story that you see has probably felt like that at some point. Right?
Yeah.
Steve, thank you. All right, so I got one more video that you got to see this one. Like so y'all not ready for this.
Hello, beautiful people. I am Sherry Moore. I am a music artist. And as a music artist, I like to consider myself an artistpreneur, a solopreneur. And one thing I would like to share about a lesson I learned or something I had to remind myself of is that in the midst of doing the day to day work of preparing for a project launch or preparing to provide a service, I had to be reminded recently to have fun. A lot of times we can be so serious about our business, making sure that every T is crossed, every I is dotted, that we forget to find fun, to find the fun in the process of doing what we are gifted and have the ability to do, to provide quality service. To people. So sometimes we get so caught up in the day to day that we forget to find ways to have fun and find joy in what it is that we provide to others. So recently I was reminded of that this year when I was working on a particular virtual concert. I was so overwhelmed with all of the day to day tasks that I had to remind myself, how can I have fun in this process? And I allowed myself to have fun in the marketing and the promotional side of things. So just getting creative. So that's a lesson learned that I had to be reminded of, because 2020 was a rough year. So 2021 allowed me to remember to have fun and lighten up. So that is that. Have a good day.
Okay, I'm fangirling a little bit. I mean, Sherry Amore, y'all. Sherry Amore, have you have got to see? Like, if you ever heard her, you got to find.
Right. And check out her
Mhm.
virtual concert. Miss Terry is another bright light that we have the pleasure of working with. And what's interesting about working with Sherry is even when she might be to the top of her stress level, you never really know it. Because she's like she said, she's on her game and she makes sure that we're all tight and we always have fun together. We laugh a whole lot. You got to get through this by finding something that's funny. We have one video from one of our buddies, Lionel Tobin. He has a funny story about driving from Indiana to Arizona and the lesson he learned. But it's that kind of stuff. Like Sherry said, you got to figure out what's fun. Laugh. Because if you don't, you'll be walking around every day just in a pit of confusion.
Yeah, I mean, so the reality is this is life. Like, life isn't what
Mhm.
happens when you reach a certain profit number. It's not anything like you doing marketing. Like, this is life, and so if you can find what's fun, like not everything's going to be fun, but there's fun in everything. And if you find a little bit of fun in the pieces, it just makes all of this better. Um, y'all, we can go on, but like all this advice that we've been giving you, we also like it's going to be on our website and a couple other videos that we didn't have time to do. So like, definitely go in, watch the whole video. But if you don't take any other advice, Marilyn, I got one more piece for you very quickly before we close. This is
Yeah.
number one advice 2022. Take it, Savannah.
Yay, Savannah.
Most Zoom meetings could be an email. Damn it, if you
She's
don't learn
absolutely
anything
right.
else.
Man, what happened to the days when you could talk to people on the telephone, the
Mm.
telephone? Why do we have to be in front of the camera all the time talking about
All the
nothing?
time. So again, if you like I said, you can like blah blah blah. Don't listen to nothing that Marilyn and Tara says. Miss Savannah is on truth. Can this be an email? And then
Yes.
also like Marilyn said, like if not an email, can it be just a regular phone call like Ma Bell back in the day? Can we just
Hmm.
talk like humans and I don't have to look at you? Um, or all that. So but yes, thank you, Savannah. That may be in fact some of the best advice we got.
I think it is, Tara. So, so as we wrap up,
Mhm.
Tara, do you have any advice to give to our wonderful audience?
Man, so I will say that 2021 taught me just to clarify kind of what my value is and recognize that keep remembering that my value isn't my skill set specifically, right?
Hmm.
Like I can actually provide more value than what my hands can do or what this thing is that is on my job description line. Like my trust, my leadership, those things actually have tangible value to people. We tend to dismiss that. What's yours?
My advice is to seek the things that will make you happy. Because as
Mm.
long as you are happy, you will be able to continue to produce those things you're good and great at.
Ooh, that's nice. And Marilyn's talking about me because I make you happy, don't I, girl? Hmm.
Uh-huh. And I heard that, I read that in what is it? Uh Cookie. What's the
Oh,
fortune
you saw it
cookie?
in the fortune cookie. Hmm.
No, actually I just made that up.
Anyway, y'all, thank you for spending the year with us. Thank you for being
Yes.
part of our community. Thank you for constantly showing up for us, and we hope that we're showing up for you. We're excited about what 2022 brings. Right, we've got more guru talks. Like our podcast is going to keep
Podcast.
going. Right, like we're looking at more and more opportunities for us to get together. Maybe even if Miss COVID gets off our neck, we can find some ways to be in the
Why
same
did
room
COVID have to
together.
be a woman?
That's
You
true. You're
know,
right about that.
tornadoes or hurricanes or something
I'm
like that.
like,
What's that about, man?
maybe COVID is non-binary. Like we gotta give love to everybody. But so
Right.
please, please,
Spread.
please, plan to spend 2022 with us. Get on the social media, talk to us, let us know what you need. And like we love doing this, right? And so as you see below, we have more guru talks. That those guru talks are going to be on our website. We also, go to our podcast. Krista, go ahead and put up our podcast
And something
Information.
too,
Mhm.
like the banner says, for the Guru Talks on our website, click the word talks and you'll see a
Yep.
whole
You'll
list
see
of them. You'll
all
be
of them.
amazed because we have some amazing speakers and all of the topics are still relevant. Everything that we talk
Mhm.
about is relevant when we had the talk all the way up till now. So you can still learn, and please share this information with others. We want to continue to grow our community so that we can continue to just bring you the topics that are of interest and of need for you.
And give more great advice, right? And
Yep.
special thanks, as always, to the team behind the scenes: Krista Winston, Latoya Williamson, Sherry Trotter. Thank you for everything that you've done. Um, and one day we're going to get you on camera. One day.
One day. But in the meantime, happy holidays, everybody. And here's to a wonderful and prosperous 2022. See ya.
Happy New Year.